Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted Pete.
Chad Kubo. How are you guys?
Why are you yelling?
over the bee noise. It's really loud. There's a lot of bees in my end.
I don't think there is any bee noise. They're silent and beautiful creatures.
That might be in your head.
So, what's the real reason you're yelling?
What?
It
Why?
was to work. I had sound effects.
Yeah, we could kind of hear it a little bit.
No, I'm not going to give him any credit.
There was no reason to scream.
None.
Unless the bees were inside your suit.
Is that better? Is it
Nope.
possible? I have my phone next to the microphone.
You can kind of hear it.
Sorry, guys.
So, that was a failed intro.
You want to start
It
over?
only took 30 minutes to figure out, too, for me.
9 after, and we started at quarter of. Yeah, pretty close. So, how was your weekend, Chad? Making honey?
Sweet. It's really sweet. My weekend? It's Wednesday. I don't even remember what I did yesterday.
We know.
Let's just talk about Tuesday. What do we do?
What'd you do on Tuesday?
This. But I didn't record it.
I'm trying to get rid of my bee helmet here.
It's an improvement, don't.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl. That was over the weekend.
Oh, let's do that.
It feels like
That's
that
the
was
first.
yesterday
That's
to
the
me.
first 3 quarters of football I've watched.
I bet like I had like 5 bets I made, and I won every one of them, except Odell Beckham over 62 and a half yards. He had 52 and then decided to blow his knee out. So, but I did have the Bengals +4, so I won that. And then I had the Bengals +4.5 because I took it twice with the better odds. And then I bet the coin toss and won that. And I bet who would win the coin toss and won that. And I bet Odell would have a touchdown and won that.
Sounds like you're really taking advantage of this whole New York being open for betting.
100%. Me a reason to watch sports. But
who's the MVP? Who ended up being the MVP?
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh, he should have been. He was ridiculous.
Dude, that guy's sick.
Yeah.
Traded him
Unreal.
as soon as the dynasty season ended. The fantasy dynasty season ended. I traded him immediately because he's injured. Because he's been injury prone, and I don't think he's going to have another.
Dude,
good
he
year
got
like that.
triple teamed on that last series all the way down, like literally triple teamed, and they threw him every play.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I mean, he's good.
Unreal.
Don't get me wrong, but Stafford's like, I guess I wasn't really sold on him. Like, I never really understood the move, with the because I liked Goff. Like, I thought, he went to a Super Bowl and stuff, but somebody's a genius that could see the difference between that and get Stafford in there. He had a great game.
His name's Sean McVay, and he is a genius.
I mean, there's a lot of people that go into that, and probably it was Sean McVay, but I'm just saying, like.
Well, no, the backstory on that is him and Matt Stafford ended up at the same resort in Cabo in the offseason, and they didn't know that, and they started talking football at in the the restaurant in the building one day, and the next day they got up early, went to the pool, and these guys weren't vacationing together, and ended up spending the whole weekend in Cabo, and then Sean McVay called back to Rams ownership and goes, "Do whatever you got to do to get me Matt Stafford as my quarterback for next season, and I'll win you a Super Bowl." And they went and traded Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks.
2 first-round picks.
They won us off. They won a Super Bowl. So
yeah, I mean, it was a good move and good for him.
A lot more than I knew. I just watched that game.
He seems like a good guy. I think the thing that's funny to me, and maybe you'll disagree, but the thing that I think is crazy is Stafford's a good quarterback, right?
yeah, very good.
But he was always on really bad teams.
Yeah,
like, I think we can agree with that, right? So then he comes over to the Rams.
Or is he Detroit, right? He was in the
Detroit.
Then he comes over to the Rams. Then he comes over to the Rams, and the Rams have a stacked team. Like, don't get me wrong, their defense is stacked. Even their offense was decent. I wouldn't say
No, their offense was better than decent. It was
they're good. They're good. But then I start to think about like people like Brady. And you start looking at, talking about the greatest of all time, right? Like with Tom Brady, like I think everybody probably agrees that he's the greatest quarterback of all time. And
if you don't, you're an idiot. And,
right.
And you got a problem with that, you can call me.
Right. Yeah. But the thing about it is Brady was that good with mediocre teams. Like, he didn't have great teams. He had good teams, but he didn't have great teams. and he still won. Like, I think more so than when he went to Tampa. Like, that for me was like the, like a different coach, different ownership, different players. Like, he came in and he wins a Super Bowl.
And that roster was very similar to the Rams roster of this year, loaded on both sides of the ball.
Agreed, but I don't know. I look at a guy that I feel like maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a football purist by any stretch, but I feel like Stafford's an awesome quarterback. Tom Brady is.
I think Tom Brady's
that to me makes Tom Brady that much better in my eyes because I feel like he did more with less. Or Stafford need to be surrounded by better players than somebody like a Brady would be. But I don't know. It's for me, it's like Brady, Eli Manning.
Well, I think any of the greats. No, listen, any of the greats are what make them great. That's how that guy brings out the talent of everybody else. And unfortunately, not everybody's built like that. Stafford's not quite the same, I guess.
I will say Joe Burrows is going to be probably
phenomenal. I thought his knee was gone again.
Yeah, that looked bad.
He's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback because he's on a team with, aside from Chase and a couple guys on offense, Mixon, he's on a team that nobody ever expected them to win.
You brought up Mixon's name. Did he get injured and I missed it?
No, he just didn't play. They didn't run much.
Well, the thing that drove me, the game was on the line. And
I know.
They handed the ball off to Samaje Perine. No discredit to Samaje Perine, but he's not Joe Burrow, or he's not Joe Mixon. Excuse me, he's not Joe Mixon. And the game was on the line, and that's who you handed off to.
It was one of those. The play calling was a little suspect down the stretch. I feel like Cincinnati was defeated at that last drive. Like, how when you watch football and you're like, these guys are going to go down and score. Like, you just feel that.
They didn't look super confident.
I didn't feel that from the Bengals. It was like when the Rams scored, they just got deflated.
It was
The other crazy thing was that Aaron Donald, who got the sack on the last play to stop it.
He's a unit.
He was offsides.
Was he? He's still a unit.
Oh yeah.
They didn't call it.
No, they didn't.
So he wasn't, for the record books purposes. He wasn't
offsides.
You think Mike Pence could change it?
Well, yeah. The thing that bothered me the most about that entire game is that it was relatively penalty free. That holding call that they got there,
that the Rams got.
The Rams got that holding call that gave them this new set of downs on the 5.
Yep,
was really suspect to me. Like, you can call that play you can make that call on any play, any passing play every down. And I don't know. I didn't like that one, especially when you've been letting it go all game long.
All game long.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But you know what? I feel like the Bengals will be back. Like, they got a good squad. They got a lot of young guys. They got
What's weird is most people in Ohio and Cincinnati don't think they're going to be back.
No,
they don't think they're going to be back. That's the attitude is literally that they.
Well, no, they're not going to sneak up on anybody now. They're going to have.
But that's. Literally, they're like, oh, that was our chance.
Then again,
and they were so close.
Then again, Ohio's been rooting for Cleveland and Cincinnati for some years. So I don't.
Anyway, Columbus would have a football team that split the
difference. Moving on, I know Matt Stafford watches the show, so Matt, congratulations.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, absolutely, we appreciate it.
Hey, I'll see you this week, Matt. We'll catch up.
He's in Disney.
So back to our regular scheduled programming.
Oh, I thought we were done. This is what we do now. I thought that was what we do now.
Well, you would have to get more versed in sports.
No, I wouldn't. That's the whole point.
Everybody's got a role.
He's the guy that doesn't say anything.
That's why I'm serving beer.
I'm completely immersed in sports. Joe is moderately immersed in sports, and Chad's like, I like the color of the ball.
It's like politics. I'm really into politics. It's just like, and that cascades down. So anyway, all right, moving on. What do we got? What are we doing now?
I don't know.
I think it's time of the show. For Joe to do something.
I think it is that
time.
Stand
here and guess at it.
Oh, the idioms. Yeah. Hold on.
I'm not ready.
I don't know where my idiom things go. This is not a good.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm getting verklempt.
I'm getting a little verklempt. Any guests who are watching the show, not guests, any viewers who are watching the show, please comment where that's from in our comments, and I'll Venmo you
$50.
$20. I want to make it worthwhile.
$20? All right, $20.
$20.
Can I participate?
No. And Doug Stafford is not allowed to win, and neither is Leroy.
Leroy Brown?
Leroy and Doug are not allowed to win, so I will.
I talked to Leroy. Leroy gave us the permission to use his write-ups for YouTube.
Thanks, Leroy. Appreciate that. We got to get him on the show.
Yeah, he said I asked him. He's pretty busy coming up. He said maybe in a couple months.
What?
That's what he told me. Yeah, he complained to him right here. He can hear you. Go ahead. He's watching.
Leroy, that's disappointing. I really
tried. He said I'd really like to do the show with Ted and Chad, but not Joe.
Yeah, I'll stay. He can have my seat for the day. He can come to my house and do it.
Found it.
There we go.
Hey, there it is.
What's up with the white line on the side there? Is that just like a?
Makes me look skinnier.
No,
it makes me look skinnier.
You better get a few more of them.
I'm gonna make it thinner.
That makes me so happy.
So this one, guys, is called. Nope, that's not it. This one is straight from the horse's mouth. You guys have heard that, right? It means getting from your information directly from the most reliable source. I got my information right from the horse's mouth. You guys know what this one is from? I'm going to start with Chad on this one.
I feel like it was some lady with huge teeth.
That's not it. Chad, what do you got?
The show, Mr. Ed.
That is a good one, Mr. Ed.
That is not a bad guess. This one's actually pretty interesting to me. I don't really understand why the term became what it did, but this is where it's from. So this one is said to come from the 1900s, when buyers could determine a horse's age by examining its teeth. Ooh. It is also why you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, which would be inspecting a gift, which is bad ettike.
Oh.
So you got to.
Can you ask that one again next week and see if I remember?
No, you won't.
The second one, I mean.
Yeah. So straight from the horse's mouth. So
that's actually pretty neat.
Yeah. So and now you know where look a gift horse in the mouth comes from, because you don't want to do that. That's rude.
Wilbur.
I love that show.
I like mine better.
Watching Nick at Night.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm older than both of you, and I never watched that show. To be honest with you.
That's
you were more of a Mary Tyler Moore kind of guy?
You were doing teenage stuff when Chad and I were watching.
That show was like 20 years before.
Yeah, but if you watch Nickelodeon, it's a 12.
So I watched Nick at Night. I just never watched the black and white talking horse.
It's because Nick at Night. It started at 10 o'clock, and it was whatever years you watched it, right? That's what it was. I mean, and
there was other things
after Alex Mack got off of her show ended. That came on.
I have no idea.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Actually,
never watched
Alex Mack's. Then Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then that.
Yeah, that's probably why
I gotta go.
Anyways, horse's mouth.
Thank you, Joe. That was a good one. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Now it's time for you to give us a.
So.
Yes, I wish there was a way I could search to that spot specifically and pull it out and make a 85-week thing compilation.
I didn't know where you were going.
I don't know, but I don't want to watch every video.
I think we need to put an episode together of just Joe's gas facts, so that
you should do that, Ted, on TikTok.
On TikTok?
Yeah, you know how to do it. We don't. I don't even have TikTok.
Me either.
That'd be great.
It'll give you something to do on your plane ride. So, anyways, there's some conjecture here, and I've gotten a few people poke at me about this one because I posted it the other day on LinkedIn. I want to be clear. What I posted here, I wrote the first major pipeline was constructed in what year? Okay. What I meant was first major natural gas pipeline, because some people have commented that like
oil was way before.
Well, I thought in the beginning part, I wrote this, so I thought that it would be something that people would already just have established, but I should have clarified. So the first pipeline was 120 miles long, and it carried natural gas from wells in central Indiana to the city of Chicago. However, the early pipeline was not very efficient at transporting natural gas. It wasn't until the 1920s that significant effort was put into building a pipeline infrastructure. After World War II, new welding techniques, along with advances in pipe rolling and metallurgy, further improved pipeline reliability. The post-war pipeline construction boom lasted well into the 60s and allowed for the constructions of thousands and thousands of miles of pipeline in America. So that being said, this pipeline, the first one, natural gas, was constructed in what year? Your choices are.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Very first one. That was where the boom was. Pay attention. Got it? So the choices are 1924, 1891, 1909, or 1842?
What was the third choice?
1924, 1891, 1909, and 1842. Chad, you answer first.
1909. But I want to talk about the background, the welding portion. Just
can you give me the choices one more time, Joe, please?
Are you kidding me?
Chad,
1924, 1891, 1909, 1842, and he didn't talk. You just forgot. And then
1924.
No.
That was my guess. I don't
know. 1891.
Wow, that. What was it made out of? Do you know?
Dirt.
Wood.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume.
I assume steel.
So, what year did you say they started to actually get into that business?
However, the early pipeline was not efficient at transferring. It wasn't until 1920s that significant effort was put into building a pipeline infrastructure. After World War II, new welding techniques, along with advances in pipe rolling and metallurgy, further improved pipeline reliability.
So the company that I went to work for when I was an intern in college for that whole year and a half I was there, was Bredro Price at that time, but they were owned by HC Price, and they're one of the creators of actually like electric arc welding on a pipe to be used on steel pipeline. And it was Mr. Burke, who I've talked to you about. He was involved, not in that, he wasn't that old, but involved in the patents and things like that they still had that they sold off separately. It's pretty interesting. Something of the sort. They had something pretty big in the leading edge of the engineering and welding world on pipelines, which is pretty cool. Same, just goes with it.
So I do want to also let you guys know that oil pipelines predate that back to about 1860 in Oil Creek, Pennsylvania. Believe it or not.
Oil Creek, huh?
Yeah, that's according to one of the guys on LinkedIn. So I'll give him props. Andy Shingledecker told me that.
Totally not going to try to say that last name.
That's awesome.
Great job. All right. So Chad, who's coming on the show today?
This week, we're going to have Mr. Brent Shuler on. Brent is in risk assessment with Nisource, well, Columbia Gas of Ohio specifically. He's out of the Columbus area. I've known Brent for probably 6 or 7 years now. Great guy. Wants to come on. His real background is pretty much corrosion. That's what he's done up until he got moved in the risk assessment. Still very heavily involved in it. And he wants to come on and talk about the Purdue short course. Well, I don't know if they call it Purdue anymore, but the Indiana short course over there that they're having at Fort Wayne Convention Center next week. So he's just coming on, give that a little tire pump, and also we get to since he asked, we get to ask him some things we want to know about him. So it should be fun.
Cool. Sounds good. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Brent. Hello, Brent. Welcome to Connections for Life. How are you, my friend?
I am good. I'm happy to be on here. Happy to be joining with you guys.
How are you?
Are they feeding you? Are they feeding you while they keep you prisoner?
I can't believe they let you have internet.
So you'll have to ask my wife. She's the one that doesn't let me out of here. She doesn't even let me finish.
You got like a lock on the outside of the door, like a big chain, and you got to knock.
Oh, look, a piece of toast got slid under.
It slid under a piece of bologna for your lunch.
They give me a valve for my water. I got to turn it on or off. Don't plug it.
Wow.
No
so your basement is actually under construction, correct? Is that what?
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, it was at one point.
I don't want anybody calling the authorities.
It was at one point.
Yeah. I haven't actually. It's a good talking point, but I haven't worked on it in over a year now.
I'm sure your family's happy about that.
Oh yeah, they're great. I love it.
I keep not trying to daylight in over a year either.
See, all you need is one of those signs that just says under construction, and you're fine. Just right on the wall.
People question whether or not I can actually get something done though. If I think it's actually.
I don't think it has anything to do with your surroundings.
Yeah.
You tell them the lights are still on and the food's still coming in. You must be doing something, right?
Yeah. I've slowly gotten paler and paler, and people are starting to notice I haven't made it into the actual sunlight. It's just the fluorescent bulb standing over top of me.
It's one bulb, just one solitary bulb above your head.
I'm trying to get my wife to give me a real bright one, so I can start eating some bread or tan or something.
She doesn't want to spoil you. No. Hey man, so I know that you kind of started in corrosion. We're going to get into that, but just how did you get your start in the industry and working in the natural gas world?
Yeah, so actually pretty cool opportunity. I was presented in college. A buddy of mine's dad worked for the local natural gas company, local utility, and my buddy was actually an intern for that same company as a corrosion engineering intern, and they had an opening in a city nearby from where I was from. So I was actually able to get in that way. So I actually started out as a corrosion engineering intern back in 2010 when I was in college. So pretty much my entire adult life has been fully focused on it since I was 20 years old, of being able to actually get in there and start to understand and be part of that. So, and then from there,
he's got 3.5 years of experience in the industry.
Yeah, four.
My bad. Sorry.
Hey, where'd you go to school?
Purdue University.
Okay, and what was your major?
Yeah, so mechanical.
Wasn't corrosion.
Not corrosion.
Yeah, mechanical engineering technology. So good old engineering school. Either astronauts or engineers. That's what you're getting out of Purdue. So good stuff there. I was actually really cool school to go to. Kind of a segue of even why I'm on here. While I was in school there, we had the old underground corrosion short course. Within corrosion world altogether, was at Purdue University for quite a while as well. But yeah, so
that's awesome.
And then from there, things just blossom when you start looking at industry overall. I, worked as an intern for a little over 3 years, and got an actual job that worked out perfectly. My boss, as an intern, ended up getting a role as the leader of our corrosion department. So I ended up taking his job and got to keep working for him for a number of years, and then opened up over in Ohio and moved over to there. Started kind of just going into things from there.
Where are you now?
So I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and gotten a little bit out of the corrosion world per se. Back in 2020, about 4 days before COVID hit, I got a new role as a manager of risk assessment for Nisource, with the entire company overall. So Nisource has a few operating companies up underneath of them. So job's kind of responsible for everything across those 6 operating companies.
That's wicked. Yeah. So, I guess I'm just gonna ask you, like you miss corrosion? I mean, are you still probably dabbling in it? But
yeah, still dabble in it. Still do a little bit. The reason I took this role is it's kind of on the peripheral of corrosion and kind of in and of itself. A lot of risk. A lot of the things that we look at are tied to pipeline integrity. They're tied to things that are on the edges of corrosion. So corrosion kind of plays right into that role overall of what's out there. So a lot of things that my group does are directly related to things that are in the corrosion world. A lot of the people that I interact with on a weekly or monthly basis are actually old coworkers from the different kind of scope of things. So while I'm not in the thick of the day-to-day of what's going on with corrosion and maintaining corrosion, I actually get to kind of still be in there and talk to those folks and help out with things. And
that's pretty neat.
Being the smartest person in corrosion in the Midwest right now, I offer a lot of advice.
I know a few people who argue with you.
Yeah.
Wait, am I supposed to have lunch with you tomorrow?
No, but I think we might end up having lunch together.
I just want to tell Todd. I just want to tell Todd when I see him. That's all. So I just wanted to make sure I was still recording this and I could pass it along to Todd.
Yeah, you'll have to let him know. He'll believe it.
So I guess one of my questions is, like, before I even get into the department part, what certifications did you get from NACE? Because I mean, I know the obvious CIP, the CP, but did you take any internals, things like that? I don't know much about other than the couple basic ones.
Yeah, so for me, and even the guys that used to work for me as corrosion techs, corrosion engineers, they really, the focus was on CP1, CP2, and the CIP classes.
Yeah.
A lot of it really revolved around that. That's the majority of kind of the day-to-day work. And then we had a couple guys that did some more focused efforts with internal corrosion and AC mitigation. I think those were the 2 other ones that were really, really important, but you didn't need like an entire department focused on those things. You need a couple guys that were really, really good with those things to be able to.
And maybe that launches into my to roll into the short course portion, but I assume that you guys, like many utilities, utilize that Indiana short course or the underground short course that you're on here to promote to educate your guys. I mean, that's where they're getting a major portion of their education, I assume, right? And maybe Morgantown as well as you get into the other states.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's a, perfect segue into that is, those NACE classes are pretty challenging. If anybody's ever been through one of those, it's not for the weary. It is
Teddy tried. I wouldn't let him because I didn't think he was going to pass.
It was, well, no, I got
anybody drank too much the night
before.
And
I go. And then I said to Chad, I go, hey, I want to get into a couple of those courses. He goes, no, you're not going to do that. And I go, well, I just was really lost when I sat in on the one. And he goes, you would just pay to feel like that multiple more times.
You have to start because you can't just jump into it. I mean, I took CP1 and I appreciate anybody that gets past CP1. I mean, I had no corrosion background. I was a coating guy. All I knew was coating. So corrosion, like I thought by Tuesday night, I called Lindsay at home and I was like, there is no way I'm passing CP1. I was like, there is not a chance that is happening. Wednesday morning.
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
That with a grain of salt that it is you, the guy.
Yeah, but no,
it's a year and a half of college.
Correct, but at the same time, I'm not a dummy. Like it was very.
It's dependent upon your interpretation of the word dummy.
but no, really, like for not having any background, it was really tough. But what's amazing about the NACE courses and what they kind of do is they break it down by like electricity. First electricity. Here's electricity. Now, at that point, I had no idea how it worked. But by Wednesday, I was like, oh, I might have a chance. But I think I lost like my seventh birthday party for having to retain all this stuff. And then you find out it's open book and you still can't figure it out that great.
Let me just point something out. I took basic introductory whatever corrosion at Morgantown, and I barely passed that. And it was open book. Yeah, so I get it.
Put it out there. I asked to do that basic one, and both of them were like, no.
Yeah, we just knew. We just didn't want you to have a bad day. We knew that it was
well, and I mean those courses, I mean the Purdue course, the Morgantown course, both of them, a lot of the same people are involved with putting them on, but they really help they really help folks that don't have that. Because a lot of times our corrosion techs that are going through those NACE classes or AMP classes, they haven't been in school for years. They're coming from other departments within the utility industry, and they're coming into there where it's probably been 10, 15 years since they did any sort of schooling. So that's where the cool thing about this underground corrosion course is it gives them those tools. It helps them out, and it's not as kind of baptism by fire where you're really getting in there and just like, holy crap, I'm learning about series and parallel circuits. What in the world? I don't remember any of this. What's Ohm's law? All those things are really difficult to try and comprehend, and you just spend that entire week in the AMP CP1 class trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. And
then you finally piece it together. And back to Teddy a little bit, like the only way you can go there and be successful at these things is if you start from the beginning and if you have no background at all, like at the underground Purdue course, my opinion is if you want to learn about it, you need to start at the basics. Am I right about that, Brent? Like that's the only way you're really going to be able to learn it. And that's
where we structured it. And we, the cool thing about this underground short course is we have some different tracks that people can take. So you do have the basic, intermediate, and advanced CP classes for folks that are really in the CP industry and wanting to go far and understand things, set themselves up. But we also have a practical applications course for folks that maybe aren't into the day-to-day CP classes. Maybe you're in the management
procurement or somebody.
Yeah, or for Ted's standpoint, not wanting to get into the weeds of electricity, it actually kind of gives you an idea of what things are.
We know you're an electrician, Ted. I'm sorry, Brent. He was going to say he was an electrician.
Well, that's kind of the funny part of it is I have 10 years I'm a union electrician by trade. I went through a 5-year apprenticeship on it.
So you're set then. You should go take CP2.
Yeah, what's Ohm's law?
Yeah.
Why do I need to repeat that to you right now?
I don't remember either, and I learned about it for a week.
Same. No clue.
I have a coin.
I'm sorry. I kind of went off on a tangent in the deep end on the short course portion, but I thought it was really good. Just in the thank you. I believe it was
IR.
Settles everything.
It related really well to the education side, and especially your background going right into it as an intern out of college. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest things about it is it really did work out well going right into that. And then that education side of things is just, again, the greatest thing about that is it gives everyone those opportunities to get the certifications that they need in the course and want to go further. And then, we've expanded the course over the years. So I became involved with the underground short course back when I first got my the real job as a corrosion engineer in 2013. And then 2014 started teaching at the course itself. But we've expanded it and it's grown. We've nearly doubled in size since that time. And we've expanded to internal corrosion classes. This year is the first year for a dedicated AC mitigation class. And we've added a lot of pipeline integrity things as well.
Who's teaching that, right? Who's teaching AC mitigation off the top of your head?
Various people. So it's under, if you look under the program, Brad Malcolm's kind of chairing it up in the special topics side of things, and really just a heavy focus on that AC mitigation because we're seeing it so much more prevalent in the industry today. So
that's awesome.
Those are some cool things to start looking at and what's out there. And we've kind of tried to adapt as things have gone along with new things in the industry. We were one of the first courses to have that internal corrosion, one of the first courses to really look heavily at AC mitigation when things started to kind of peeking their head up for it. So
I thought it was the UBSCO Expo was the first.
But you guys were trailblazing with the virtual stuff. Nobody had ever heard of Zoom before you guys.
We actually own part of Zoom now.
I wish. Are you serious? We wouldn't be doing this if we owned part of Zoom. We wouldn't be like maybe like this much.
I'd be doing it, but I'd be at my beach home.
Yeah, we would be recording from there. So
Brent, your basement would be finished. I promise you that.
So let me ask you, what does a day in your department look like? Like, what does that look like?
Risk assessment. That's really big, especially at a utility. Like that's
it's cool.
I feel like that's also being like a parent. It's like it's
Well, I actually have two kind of distinct departments. One of them kind of took on at the beginning of last year as we started looking at things, but both kind of play into each other. So kind of the one department really is focused on risk, but we're trying to see, where risk is across all of our assets. So, within a utility industry, we have distribution pipelines, services that are going to your meters, meter sets, transmission assets, our measurement and regulation facilities. We have underground storage facilities. We have LNG tanks where we're taking care of all of those assets. Within Nisource, we have 55,000 miles of distribution piping, a lot of pipe across the board. So trying to decide how do you prioritize things for replacement when you have that and a discrete amount of dollars that you can work with really is hard to do. So what my department does is really try to help the organization make risk-informed decisions. And we have some models that allow us to do that. They're called probabilistic risk assessment models. So say that about 4 or 5 times fast.
Risk assessment models.
I just want to say I'm really glad that if there's somebody out there that does this stuff, because if it was left up to people like us, it would just be
never be risky.
Done. Yeah,
there'd be a lot of assessing going.
There'd be a lot of assessing.
But it's a pretty cool thing. I know it sounds boring, but it actually is.
No, it's got it.
It actually doesn't sound boring at all. It sounds pretty wild because I assume like I don't know. I'd be nervous all the time.
Yeah, you look at the cost of something happening. You look at what would happen if you did have an event somewhere. What would happen if you had a leak in this specific area? How does that play into the overall scheme of things?
And if you're going to replace that pipeline, I assume, or something of the sort, or replace that's wild. That's really neat. We could probably talk for hours about that.
How many people are on your team?
Yeah, so I have 7 people altogether that report up through me. I think the number is right now between contractors and folks.
Are they all different types of people, Brent? Like, are there some analysts and some more like hands-on corrosion type? Are they all different types?
Yeah. I mean, they are more kind of engineering background type folks. that analytical kind of minds that really get into things.
Not a lot of sales guys on the risk assessment.
No, very little.
We need some of those, I think. Maybe balance out it out
a little fun. Yeah, get things going. I don't think we'd get much done if that was the case. Yeah.
Terrible idea.
The cool thing is the other department. I do want to hit on this one because this one's pretty wicked. What kind of fun department that got rolled up into me at the beginning of last year. We started doing advanced mobile leak detection. So we actually have a car that's able to drive around and help us pinpoint where leaks are. So you can drive that car around and drive, say, 35 miles an hour and find where leaks are up to 600 feet away from where that vehicle and unit's going. And then we're able to quantify the flow of that leak, trying to get some information on it before we get folks out there to do it. So
that's pretty awesome.
How does that work? Is it like, is it infrared? Is it sniffers?
Laser?
Like, lasers?
So it's actually pulling in the air around it, and it's bringing it itself into this what's called cavity ring down spectroscopy, which is basically just shooting a laser over the air. And it's saying how long does it take to get back and forth, and that's the makeup of methane and ethane to tell you what kind of leak it is.
That's
how much does that car cost?
It's a lot. It's more than I think all four of us put together make. And even if you guys own Zoom, it's probably a little more than that.
So you have one.
Yeah. No, we have 7. We have 7. Yeah. Yeah. So
what kind of insurance do you need to drive that?
Well, luckily we have a gigantic corporate insurance department, so
they're covered.
We're good.
But do you think I could ever go for a ride in it?
Yeah, absolutely. To be frank with you, Chad, when you're out tomorrow at Johnny, if you come meet us at Johnny, I can actually take you out back and show you the one we have there.
100%.
Brent, do not put Joe near that vehicle.
When it finds a leak, does the whole car light up bright red and like where?
Now you get
a clown car.
Oh darn it!
Yeah. I would like to see it though. Honestly,
really
next time I'm
in
Columbus, I'd love to come out and take a look at it.
Don't let him touch any buttons.
If you're in Columbus, where are you at, Joe?
New York.
Okay, never mind then. Nobody likes that.
No, neither do I.
Not him either.
I hate it here.
I hate it here.
But if you make it over to Columbus, we have a car in the Pittsburgh area that operates.
I come to Columbus pretty frequently because I travel with Chad. So next time we'll let you know. I'd love that.
That's really cool. I'll send you pictures tomorrow.
To show you guys. It's cool technology. It's some good stuff we have going out there. Really trying to, our focus for Nisource is reduction of our methane footprint, trying to go after, how we can get a reduction in methane leaks that are out there. And then from a safety standpoint, this is measuring leaks in parts per billion, which is a really minute small number. Wow. Right now we're doing in parts per million. So we get, 2 to 3 times the number of leaks that are out there today. And pretty cool stuff. By being able to get kind of down into the weeds of what's there. And then the flip side, the reason why the department's in the risk assessment department, we could take that data and analyze it and help us understand where we should prioritize replacement for some of those mains and things.
Do you have one in like you had 7 of them? So where are they located?
Yeah, we have some in Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Ohio right now, and we're looking to expand. We're going to be adding some in Kentucky, Virginia later this year.
That's cool.
Okay. That's awesome. And cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's really
cool. So last time Chad and I were together, we just get to go in like the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. We got into that. So this will be.
We also got into the Banks facility one time.
Oh yeah, in Banks facility.
Which was amazing.
One time.
Cool stuff. You guys should start selling that, Chad.
I'll sell anything.
Yeah.
He will. He's trying to say. He tried to tell you we had Zoom, part of Zoom. And next thing,
do you want to buy some Zoom? I got some.
Buy some Zoom stock. Chad's got.
Just let you log it in my name whenever you want. $5.
He doesn't have the full blown account though.
No. You only get a half hour. It's
limited services. Yeah. Hey, Brent. Before we let you go, I know you got a lot of work to do in that basement. I wanted to ask you, let's just go over one last time the short course, kind of the time frame, how people might be able to find out more information. I know it's coming up, but you might maybe get somebody that didn't know about it that might want to check it out.
Yeah, no, that's good. And we haven't really spent a whole lot of time on the course side of things here, but yeah, so the underground corrosion short course, most people know it as Purdue or the Purdue underground short course. It is moved over to Fort Wayne, Indiana now.
Forever?
For the time being, that's our goal is to shift it over there. We still have a lot of restrictions with the university. Just didn't make it possible for us to continue it on there. It just class size
worries me about Morgantown a little too.
Just difficult. And then from just having everyone together, we've always had separate locations for the course versus the vendor show. So having this all in Fort Wayne in the convention center there allows us to have everyone together in one place. So it's
pretty cool. That'll help a lot too.
And you feel like you're at a bigger convention show. That was one of the pieces of feedback we got last year. For a lot of these guys, they don't get to go to the AMP National Conference. They don't get to go to things like AGA. So this is an opportunity for them to see some of those things. And, while they're learning, they're actually able to experience what it'd be like to be at kind of a larger conference. So good opportunity there.
That's awesome.
We're pretty excited about the change, and we can grow more there too. Where we're at Purdue, we wouldn't be able to get much bigger to be able to sustain what we were wanting to do. So as we get into Fort Wayne and as we start to lift a lot of these COVID restrictions, we hope to really expand the course and be able to keep growing and provide a lot more value to folks. So the course is at Purdue this year, at Fort Wayne this year at the Grand Wayne Convention Center. It starts on March 1st, which is a Tuesday. We reformatted the format of the schedule. So in the past, we'd started on Tuesday with a hands-on section, and then Wednesday, Thursday was the classes and tests, where we've taken and revised it to where everything could be on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that way everyone was able to get everything in those 2 days. Have less kind of downtime. So Tuesday classes start in the morning, and they'll go into Wednesday. And Wednesday you'll be able to take those tests, and we'll have some other offerings there too. And if you're able to come on Monday night, we're actually having an opening ceremony and trying to get people to come in, make sure they're able to come in the night before, because things start pretty early on Tuesday morning. We're also having a casino night to kind of get people in, get people jazzed up for the courses, get people to get things going on that night before things.
Chad always coughs when he's bluffing, just so you know.
No, I just cough.
If people wanted to go online and find out more information, Brent, where would you send them?
Yeah, corrosionshortcourse.com. So very simple, pretty straightforward. You can also go to indianacorrosion.com. Either one of those places will take you directly to it. You can register there. The cost of it is really cheap in the terms of cost for courses. I believe we're right around $250 right now for it. You get 2 days of learning, a certification. You get some professional development hours while you're doing that. So you get a lot of opportunities there, and it caters to everyone of all facets of.
It's fantastic.
You get basic, intermediate, advanced, pipeline integrity, practical applications, internal corrosion, and then some special topics. In addition to that, we'll also have a roundtable with some folks from PHMSA, as well as some folks that really know what's going on in the industry overall. So like if there's questions related to the mega rule or new rulemaking coming out there, really present some opportunities for folks to be there.
Will you have an open bar? Hey, you gotta tell people what draws them in too.
Yeah, we will at the vendor show each night. There is an open bar. You guys can come drink, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Be
responsible.
Yeah, be responsible. Are you guys going to be there? That's a good question.
Did you invite us to host an episode of Connections for Life?
we would have come.
We would have been there. We hosted a happy hour for a couple other events.
Joe and I are going to be in Houston.
Not March 1st.
I know, it's bad math. Darn it.
It's the week after you guys will be down there. San Antonio. You guys will be in San Antonio the next week.
I'm not only
Okay.
They don't let me go because
you should go.
Consider yourselves officially invited to come to the short course and host.
Hey man, honestly, I was gonna say to you, like, if you ever want us to do anything, like even just like kind of some silly stuff, like in the evening, or we're more than happy to help you guys out with that.
Yeah.
We're relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Like nothing. We hosted a game show actually, virtually and live for Southern Gas Association.
We could do like a game show night or something like that. We can do a bunch of different stuff. So if you're interested, probably not this time, but like anything more moving forward, let us know. We'll help you out.
Love to.
Absolutely. That would actually be pretty cool. Again, we're trying to get things going with it. We know there's a lot of people right now that are still up in the air of trying to come to the course and take part with the Omicron virus and companies allowing them to, but things are starting to subside enough. We're starting to actually see a lot of folks starting to register over the last couple of weeks. So really hoping for a good course. We actually met the goals for our vendors already. So we do have the anticipated number of vendors we were expecting, but for those of you that haven't signed up and you are a vendor and wanting to come, again, pretty cheap course overall if you're wanting to come there, and good coverage of people. So
it's awesome.
This is awesome.
good opportunity for learning. You know, for any of those corrosion techs out there that have questions and then have want to know answers to things, this is that opportunity.
I always say, even the people in the other departments that don't know a whole lot about corrosion, they're the ones that should really be going to.
Oh yeah.
Or just for a refresher, because not everything you do every single day, you know. I mean, there's just a lot of good information there. And like you said, no offense, for $250, like, come on, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what everything costs anymore. So
yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. And corrosion, you know, I always tell guys when I would interview them for corrosion techs jobs, corrosion is the best job in to me, the industry. It was always the best job.
Which is why you went to risk assessment. That's
well,
maybe that did make him the smartest corrosion person in Columbus.
Yeah, that was a problem. I just became too smart.
You got too good. You didn't want to get too good. Yeah,
that was it.
Until I learned that big word that's in the methane or however that stuff came back. That's what it was.
Brent's the Tom Brady of corrosion.
Yeah,
Tom, the goat.
Yeah,
go.
Yeah. Don't tell Todd that. He'll be
100% Todd.
This is on camera, man.
Can you splice that part out?
This is on camera.
Yeah. That's what we're using for a commercial.
You're the corrosion goat.
Commercial to pump the tires for your episode. I'm better than Todd.
Hey, Brent, I wish you tons of luck out there. Like I said, if there's anything we can ever help with, we're more than happy to do so. I know it'll be a good effort. I know some of the other guys that are involved in this are really top notch, and you guys are running a pretty good thing going on. Got a pretty good thing going on out there. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks for coming on the show. And we really hope that you have an awesome turnout and successful event. I think it's really exciting that we're actually kind of turning the corner finally into hopefully going back to what we all took for granted. So, you know, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Really, really do to get the name out there. So thank you guys very much.
Absolutely. I'm gonna stop. You don't have to hang up. I forgot to tell you that.
If I talk to you next, if we talk to you in another 6 months and that basement looks like that, I'll come out there with a tool belt and help you out.
What you need to do.
I don't question your tool.
If you let him drive the car, if he's allowed to drive the car.
That's it. You get 4 hours of manual labor for every hour I can drive that car.
Thanks, Brent. Brent, that was awesome. Joe swallowing smoke.
It's okay. Well, they are. Everybody knows he vapes, anyways. It's fine.
How long can he hold it in for?
It goes away after a while.
Oh,
if you didn't say anything, no one would have known.
It was awesome having Brent on. Let's just talk a little bit. I know we talked about it on there, but once again, just so everybody knows, it's kind of one of the reasons he wanted to come on is the Underground Corrosion Short Course is happening March 1st and 2nd at the Graham Wayne Convention Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've been to it in the past. Great little corrosion show. I'm sure they do put out PDH hours and things like that, and pretty much have all the tracks and everything, like all the corrosion shows too. It's a good time. I hope they get a good turnout. They just had it. I think the tougher part, and even for them, was they had it in like September too, because they had one then. So that one wasn't.
A lot of shows are going. Attended, but a lot of shows are experiencing that right now. Like, you know, we had one in July that I'm going to tomorrow.
I think this one I think this one will be better off than the one in September at the point where we're at now. I think maybe with COVID and some people, some of these companies up and letting go of the restrictions. There's still some though. Dominion, like one of my buddies there that's supposed to be going to NACE in a couple of weeks, still not sure if he can go. So it's kind of all up in the air. It's interesting.
2 weeks.
Sorry.
You know what else is interesting? This article we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, really quick. I just want to say, first of all, Brent, thank you for coming on the show. Second, I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to make it because everybody knows Fort Wayne, Indiana is one of my favorite places to be. That's a little inside joke for anybody who knows me. But no, it's good to talk to Brent. You know, we actually got to know him. I got to know him a little bit when we did the expo.
Which is fun.
Which was a good time. It feels like that was 300, like at least.
Yeah, it really does. That was about a year ago now.
Yeah, I know. It seems like so long ago. But no, thanks for coming on, and you know, good luck with the show. I think it's awesome that these shows are actually coming back and people are going back and traveling and getting back at it. You know, restrictions are starting to fall apart and or go away. I shouldn't say fall apart, but go away.
I like the fall bar better, actually.
It's nice to see maybe a bit of normalcy coming back to everyday life. I mean, sure I remember March 2020. I just jokingly said it's 2 weeks. We're just 2 weeks, and here we are.
To stop the spread.
Stop something. So, anyways, but yeah, go ahead, Daddy. Whatever you're gonna move on to.
Well, I was just gonna say that's a nice segue into our next segment of the show, where we've been going over articles and whatnot. We're actually going to even change it up a little further more this time with a video that goes along with this article. Joe, do you want to precurse, anything?
No, it just, I mean, basically this comes from Fox Business. It's regarding the natural gas prices and production of natural gas in the United States. It's pretty interesting. I think, guys, we haven't done this before. So if there's anything you want to interject while this is going on, just let me know so I can stop the video. Okay. We can talk about it a little bit more, but I think it's a couple minutes long, kind of speaks for itself. And it was pretty interesting, and we thought we'd add it to the show. So with that being said, if I could get my computer to work, there we go.
Small things.
You guys see it?
Yep.
Cool. So here we go.
Time as Russia-Ukraine tensions remain high, Europe's supply of natural gas is hanging in the balance, and a conflict could impact prices here. Lydia Hu joins me now from East Millsboro, Pennsylvania, with more. Hi, Lydia.
Hi there, Jackie. Yeah, analysts are warning that prices for natural gas here at home for Americans could escalate amid a conflict between Russia and Ukraine, because war would inject a lot of uncertainty and volatility into the market. Early this afternoon, we are seeing that futures are escalating. They're about 2% higher as of this moment. And if we look at the year-over-year prices, we know that consumers are paying about 24% more for natural gas now than they were last year. Part of the problem is that storage volumes are about 17% lower now than last year. Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren and about a dozen other Democratic lawmakers are calling on the Department of Energy to cut exports of liquefied natural gas, claiming that will tamp down on rising prices. But analysts and the CEO of EQT tell me that's not right. They say prices are set regionally. Most exports occur from the Gulf Coast, and that would do nothing to help prices in New England, where they are among some of the highest for natural gas right now. What they say will help is increased production and investment in infrastructure. Watch.
Prices that people are paying for their home heating bills, and people should be very upset about that. It's because of the lack of adequate pipeline infrastructure. People need to be aware that we want to do more. Natural gas prices here in Pennsylvania are $3.50, well below what anybody's paying in the Northeast. We need more pipeline infrastructure.
Now, since 2016, Jackie, EQT points to 4 natural gas pipeline projects that have been canceled, which would have served nearly 26 million homes. The CEO of EQT, Toby Rice, who you just heard from, says that has restricted about 10% of the nation's natural gas, and that's why regions like New England have especially high prices.
Why do they show just that?
Continued restrictions and lack of investment in infrastructure moves us closer to.
I mean, it is, but it just looks really technical.
On foreign energy sources, Jackie.
That's absolutely right, Lydia Hu. We got to get it out of the ground, and we need the infrastructure to move it around, or prices are going to go up. Thank you for that.
Okay, so yeah, interesting. I mean, I think we all knew, like, it's crazy because I think that most people think that when you hear pipelines are going to be shut down or they're not, you think gas. Like, I think that's what most
gasoline.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody really thinks about what that means for like natural gas. And it's cold here now, and we're obviously using lots of natural gas, and we have the resources here, which is the thing I think that makes everybody crazy. It's kind of like, it's a weird analogy, but it's like kind of going to your refrigerator and not being able to use the ingredients that you have in your home to cook with. They're there, you're just not able to use them because of rules and regulations implemented by the government. And the thing that I thought was the most interesting to that is, these politicians are saying, well, the reason price is up is because we need to reduce the amount that we're actually sending to overseas, when the reality is that doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
cost of products at
We need to
home.
make more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of what we talked to even about is that
Evan.
even I knew it's wrong. Sorry.
I'm gonna see him tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyways, so with that being said, like it's kind of like I feel like politicians say one thing so just people think that, when in the reality it has nothing to do. It's actually the policies that they've created that have actually made the problem. But instead of admitting it and reversing the policies, they instead will blame it on something that's actually not.
Listen, that Penn East one is that one project on there is the one that Ted, we talked about maybe a month and a half ago. He sent the information. I don't think we talked about it on the show, but it was one of those projects that they had finally shut down. That's been going on. They've been trying to do that project for 9 years. And I can't even imagine how much the operators put into it, because it's not like you just go, let's go do that, and then we're going to get the permits. Like, no, you actually have to spend millions of dollars doing the right-of-way acquisitions, that all those things before they even take your permitting into position, which is pretty crazy.
So I have a question. This is a different kind, but now you made me think of something. When and maybe most people don't know this, but when they go and run a pipeline, they go through people's private property.
Yes.
And to use the private property, they have to pay the
Lease
land.
Mineral rights.
Lease.
No.
They lease the land.
Mineral rights would be if you had a well on your property, you would get the minerals that come out of the ground. You own those.
So so correct me if I'm wrong, because you probably know.
I do know.
So you have a pipeline that's running through my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed off on it and I said yes. Now, don't they get a percentage annually of or is it just a flat fee?
There's a couple different ways. Well, there's a few different ways, because
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but if it's federal, first of all, they don't have to pay you. They'll just take it.
Let's just go with the fact that, like, the pennies, there's property that pipeline goes through that people got paid for to put the pipeline on.
At some point, they don't get paid monthly. They get paid a one-time leasing fee.
So it's just one time.
Yeah, they get paid to put it on their property. I mean, you can swing different deals, and different states have different ways that it works. But like West Virginia. West Virginia, nobody even owns that ground, Joe. Like in West Virginia,
I know
nobody owns the mineral right. Nobody owns underneath the surface, which is pretty crazy.
But what my point is that, like, I think in some states they do make money like monthly or annually.
You can, but most of the time where that money is made is when you have a well on your property. That's where you get paid.
Okay, but regardless, I don't want to get lost in that detail. I appreciate the fact that that's the case. I don't care about that. What I'm trying to say is, do people still get paid when the pipeline gets canceled?
No.
What if the pipelines are like, there's already pipeline laid that they can?
Yeah, they got paid for that.
So those people got paid, but if there's any residual, do they still?
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, they got, nope, you're done. We're done.
So now these people just have dormant pipelines laying in their property.
Yeah, pretty much.
So my question is, like you said, to put in a pipeline that's 100 miles or 200 miles or however miles long, like, and they stop 3/4 of the way through, there's probably already hundreds of millions of dollars that's been expended and spent to get to that point. And
this is I think they keep talking, because I think it's a very easily Googleable number. I'm just working on it. I agree. It's amazing to me. It would have been so that's
just one more example of how much money we waste.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we talk about things and people not being able to feed themselves, or not having to be able to pay for their children or keep their homes or anything like that, and we're okay with just burying hundreds of millions of dollars in the ground that produce no outcome.
Well, so Joe, like on another construction aspect of that, like I agree with you. It's absolutely mind-boggling how that takes place. But even if you look in the construction industry for some large corporations and whatnot, right? My history, my background's in electrical. I've been a part of several new bids or new buildings, new construction projects where the footers were poured and the site work was completed and everything was ready to go for a building to be put together. And it was 2 years worth of work to build this building after all of that was done. And the company had a bad month in the market and they lost X amount and they scrap it. So you're talking $5-10 million worth of site work.
Crazy.
Put in, and it's just scrapped. They're like, no,
yeah,
we're not
I
doing
get
that
that
anymore.
I get that, but that's like I guess the thing, I get that, and I understand that too.
I'm just drawing the comparison to. I agree wholeheartedly.
No, but this is hundreds of probably in excess of $1 billion, probably, that is just wasted. Now, here's my next question. If you have a Democratic like group that comes in and cancels these pipelines, and then say in 4 more years you come in and you say, okay, we'll forget it, we're going to go back and we're going to put them in. Like, how degraded are those pipelines that they've already put in?
Oh, they're
they
not doing anything to it because they have no reason to cathodically protect it. They don't.
That's what I mean. So like all that's just junk, maybe. So you're just gonna have to restart the whole thing potentially, or parts of it. It just seems like it's wasted resources. I mean, I understand. Like at the very least, let them finish the pipeline and just don't turn it on. If that's what you want to do. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to just be like, oh, we made it 300 of the 400 miles and we're just, we're done. Like,
common sense.
That's what happens. But that's what happens. It happens in a state. Like the reason the Penn thing didn't work is because New Jersey, they couldn't get permits in New Jersey.
And the craziest thing about that is there's 26 million homes impacted by those 5, was it 5 or 4? 4 or 5? 26 million
5.1
homes. That, in essence, is about 8% of the people that live in the United States. Yeah. Think about that.
It's crazy. Chad, meanwhile, you're looking for?
I sort of, but not really. I went down the rabbit hole. The other project that I know real well that I sold Rock Shield to, that was the one that was going West Virginia all the way down in like the Carolinas, the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and it's just a whole article about like the landowners said they want their property back. Like there's a whole article about they didn't build it. They came and cleared it and never did anything. And now
that's what I mean. There's all kinds of ramifications that go along with that. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd be really ticked off if they came and cleared all my land and made a space to put a pipeline in, and then they didn't come and I didn't get paid.
So this one's even better. Like I was talking about, if you're a federal project, Mills didn't want the pipeline on his property, but ACP had the power called eminent domain to take it anyways. So they took it and they didn't even put the pipeline in. This is from Mountain State Spotlight. So this is another article. I just came across this one. It's just it's a really interesting thing because I've talked all my career when I called on, especially the gathering lines, because there's hardly any regulations in that stuff except for environmental ones, which are pretty wild, like the bats that, you can literally, they'll take this dude's house if they have to put a pipeline in, but they have to shut down for a month because they won't cut down the trees because of the indigenous bats. Like,
I mean, I get it. I think that the biggest thing to me in all of this is the amount of money that gets just wasted. The amount of money that we actually could be putting into government and social programs to be able to help people, to be able to have better education, to be able to school, house, clothe, and feed people that we just don't do.
I agree.
So I don't know. It's such bad management. Like we were thinking about it the other day. Like, Chad, what was it we were talking about? Like how much taxes like they get from like.
Oh, people that are retired, right?
Or like tolls.
Oh, tolls, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like, I just did some math and I was like, man, like, we talk about spending this is the $1.5 trillion bill. Like, do you know how much money people pay into taxes and how poorly it's managed? So it's just so poorly managed. But anyways, we could talk about this forever. It's a really cool article. I think it goes without saying that we, to decrease pricing, we need to have production. We need to have more pipelines. We need to have all of these things that we, for no other reason other than from a political standpoint, we choose not to have. Seems kind of counterproductive to me. But
with that said, we appreciate our guest for joining us today. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. As always, we love all of our guests. We value
most of them.
All right, yeah. We value the information that they share, and yours was no different. Make sure we're gonna get out there, get registered for your event. And remember to click like, subscribe, and share.
One last thing. We're probably going to be on hiatus next week.
We're all traveling.
Yeah, we're all traveling. Anybody's actually going to care or notice.
So we're going to actually see if we can maybe do some funny stuff on the road while we're out and about. So,
maybe a compilation of live videos like, hey guys, just wanted to check in from here. But
the problem is Ted will just do his at like 11 at night.
Yeah, we got to be able to hear. We have to be able.
Nobody will be able to watch it live because I'll be asleep.
No, we're not going to do it live. We're just going to. Oh my goodness! Bye, Teddy. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize to Teddy for that one because I was just poor.
See you next week, guys, or the week after, or whenever we do it again. We love you.
Last show.
Chad, you have to hit end. It's your response.